All right, guys. Hopefully, you had a good discussion. We'll just move right into the other flip side of this thing. So, along with the admission that I was powerless over alcohol and allowing that truth in, I think I was in this place of sort of brokenness where I was ready and willing to maybe admit some other realities as well. And for me, the spiritual and the physical, they're just connected. Every time in my life I've been good spiritually, it's reflected in my physical actions, and not just actions of like service or going to meetings or reading and meditating, but like my actions in regard to my own self. Physical, sexual stuff, food stuff, activity, healthy stuff that I engaged in physically with my body. And while I was on that admit train, I guess, I had to take a look at some other things in my life. And one of them was I had to admit that I was sort of in the same situation physically, that, in my experience or in my view, to sit around and be lazy and not take care of the one body that I've been given to sort of navigate this life with, to abuse that with food that I knew was shitty and non-nutritious, but it felt good, or to be lazy and to not take care of myself and maintain myself, was every bit as self-centered as any addiction I had ever dabbled in. It's all about trying to feel better, trying to do the thing that feels good instead of the thing that is good for me. And so while I was in that process of admission, I also admitted that I could no longer live a life of laziness and self-gratification when it came to my body as well, not just spiritually, but with the stuff that I put into my body. And so kind of had the same realization around the same time that, I also am going to have to take some steps to make some changes in these other areas. And so for me, it was kind of like this domino effect. It was like a waterfall. Like when I admitted that in my addiction, I also had to look at it in the rest of my life as well. And I really think this is what the book's talking about when it talks about we practice these principles in all our affairs, right? We can't just stop being self-centered when it comes to drinking and drugs and alcohol. We have to look out for self-centeredness in everywhere in our lives. And our physical life, I think, is one of those final places where people still engage in some pretty heavy denial. I stopped drinking, I stopped using drugs, I go to meetings, I sponsor people, I'm helpful around the house. So like I deserve to eat Oreos and pizza every night. Like I don't see how that connects. And I think that a lot of us, or a lot of people get through that first part of it, but they're missing like the fullness of what this sobriety thing is about. I was reading something the other day and it said how sobriety is just the foundation. Like not using, that's just the slab. That's just getting started. And I feel like there's too many people who never make it off that slab. And so if you take that admission and you start looking into other areas of your life, where else is there some truth about me that I need to let in? Where else is there some self-centeredness? And I know it's self-centered, but I'm just like trying to justify it, or I'm trying to ignore it. So that was my experience, was that along with my admission that I was self-centered in that area of my life, I had to look at other areas. And as I became less self-centered in both areas, the whole of my life began to improve. So one of the things that used to really bother me was when I would hear people, praying for things about their health that was avoidable. If you're excessively overweight and you're doing all the wrong things, but praying that you don't get sick or that you get healed or whatever, it's like, I don't know if that's, to me, that was kind of like when I would pray that God would make me sober when I was knocking back a case of beer. It's like, you can't do that. There are certain things you can expect for God to help you with, and there are certain things that He'll help you do, but you have to take the first step, So anyway, I'm sure you guys have had a similar experience, and today's workout is going to give us an opportunity, again, to be unselfish, to be unself-centered when it comes to our physical lives. So your WOD today, 3 rounds, 15 pull-ups, 12 lateral barbell burpees. So that just means you're doing a burpee long ways with the barbell and then jumping over it. And then you got 9 thrusters. As always, scale the pull-ups with something that you can do pretty consistently. And the thruster weight is, whatever is medium for you, probably medium to light difficulty for you. The sobriety WOD for you guys to take home with you. Are there any admissions, anything you might need to admit in your life right now that maybe you've been sort of denying, maybe actively refusing to allow that truth in? And, if you take advantage of this, if you want to write down what they are. I know journaling and thinking through this stuff has been helping me a lot lately. Just sitting down, maybe not making any changes yet, but just saying, all right, this is an area where I've been resisting admitting the fact that I'm being self-centered when it comes to these things. So hopefully you guys enjoy the workout, get sweaty, get hot, give each other some high fives, roll out, and have a good week.